Good evening and welcome to the channel. Yes, I'm not your favorite Puerto Rican. He couldn't be here this evening, but the show must go on. So, this is the Adventures of Gonzo. You're not in the wrong place. But it's come on, let's be real. It's two better people. Like, come on.
Gonzo decided to bail, so hey,
it's
I'm
us.
here. You
Come
got
on.
me.
He couldn't make it. Chat, I'm glad you could be here with us this evening. It's going to be a fun night because, as you guys know, we have a special guest. And so we have Bob from One Stop Mouse that we're going to be interviewing this evening. So I'm going to bring him out in a little bit. But first, hello, Kaylin Christine. What up, Just Jesse? Diz Infinity.
Krista. Hi,
Krista. What up, Just Jesse again? Mar, how's it going? Rachel.
Hi, how are you?
Hope you guys like our backdrop. You know,
Yeah.
it might as well be a picture because it's not real either. But it looks pretty. So, without further ado, let's bring on the man of the hour, Mr. Bob from One Stop Mouse. How's it going, Bob?
Hey, what's up? What's happening? It's going well.
Good. Glad to hear. Glad to hear. It's good to be able to hear you. I know it's sometimes a struggle, but it adds for great comic relief. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, go check out our friend, the Mickey Bunch. Brunch with the Bunch is always a blast, and with Bob, it's never a dull moment.
Oh, God. Well, let's just say if you go check out the last episode of the Mickey Bunch, my audio was breaking up very severely, and it made it sound like I was saying something totally different than condiments. So,
yes. Yeah, we don't want to give the spoiler other than you might want to go check it out if you're having a rough day and you need a laugh. Definitely go check out
Really good.
the Mickey Bunch. So
that's crazy.
I asked Bob if he went back and watched it again. He was like,
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I did. BP, I love your shirt. What is that, Fantastic Four?
Yes, actually.
Nice.
It is Fantastic Four and their Funko Pops.
Oh, look at that. That's awesome. Where'd you get that?
I actually did an unboxing not that long ago, and I bought one of those. I bought two of them. It was the Marvel Collector Core boxes from Amazon.
Right.
It comes, normally they come with a t-shirt, one or two Funko Pops, and maybe a couple other collectible like pins or something like that. And normally they're $30, $30 or $40 for the month. It's a monthly thing. But some of them that don't sell out, like this one didn't sell out, and I ended up getting it for $8.
Wow.
So I got two Funko Pops, the shirt. I got a pen with a notebook, and a pin and a sticker, all for $8.
Wow, that's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
I love that shirt.
What I know
Mine's cooler though. Look at mine.
You're right. Yours is cooler. I vote for your shirt.
Yeah, she's a huge Elf fan. I know.
Well, it's easy to be a big fan of that movie. I think that's a great movie.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are not Will Ferrell fans and don't like Elf, but Elf, like, if we don't, like, I had to buy Elf, like, and so it gets played a minimum of one time a year, but usually it's a lot more than that. So in December it goes on and then goes on because Santa, like.
Even if you're not a Will Ferrell fan, that's still sort of above and beyond, set apart. Even if you don't like anything else he did, that's so good.
I just like the character. I'm not a Will Ferrell fan. I just love the character. That's it.
Yeah.
He's just like an elf, like out of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but he's not a puppet, and he's like 6'5". That's what makes the whole thing funny.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, because he's not an elf. He's huge, but he acts like he's 2 feet tall. It is hilarious. So
I always think of that scene where he can throw snowballs like a machine gun.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Just pelting everybody. So you started a YouTube channel, but
Yeah.
did you start that? Let me just ask, when did you start it? What got you into thinking I'm gonna do a YouTube channel?
When I was still out of state, still living out of state, I've been here for about a year and a half. So I guess it was a little over 2 years ago. I started a channel called WDW Epic Vacations. And the whole idea, even though it sounded like a travel agency, but the whole idea to me was I was starting to notice something at the time, a little over 2 years ago. And what that was I had a bunch of friends and family that had not been to Disney for, 5, 6 years or whatever. And everything at Disney, from fast passes, from crowds, from not being dead times anymore, to the magic bands, to my Disney experience. These people who hadn't been there, for several years came back, and they were in shock, and they were overwhelmed because they didn't even recognize Disney anymore. It wasn't the same thing. And they found it really difficult because they were just coming in and winging it, how hard that was up until COVID type stuff, and even now. And so my idea for the channel was I was going to do instructional sort of videos, how to prepare for the weather, how to prepare your family, or how for you, if you're the mom or the dad who's in control of the trip, and your kids and your mom and everybody else, how to figure out how to have a nice indoor lunch where everybody can calm down when your child is having a meltdown and mom just can't take it anymore. I was trying to do a how-to sort of thing.
Okay.
And then Josh from Resort TV One basically told me about halfway through that time that WDW Epic Vacations sounded like a travel agency. And it basically sounded, when I was giving super chats and stuff, because I love them so much, that I was like some other travel agency they were associated with. And he was having to literally, as he was doing streams, having to explain that I'm not a travel agency. And he probably doesn't even remember this because they have so many subs and stuff now. But I then changed it to one stop mouse, one stop information. That's what it is. Okay. And then it's expounded from those vlogs to primarily lately, because any vlogs I was doing, everything at Disney in the last several months has been changing so fast that if I did a how-to video, by the time I finished editing it, it was different. So, because things have been changing so much. So then I started doing a lot of streams because I live here now. And then Walt from Mouse Talk told me that a thing that I really needed to do was make more connections and friends in the YouTube community. And so then I started doing a whole lot of interviews, primarily just to make friends, to meet you, to meet your wife, to meet Kelly, to meet Walt. Yeah. And then that's why you've seen me on the Mickey Bunch a lot lately, because Kelly wasn't going to come on and do an interview with some guy she didn't really know. It was like a cold call on Instagram. But she said, why don't you come on? We'll try it out. And maybe I can help out your channel. And it's sort of worked out where I've been on like half a dozen times now. So that brings us up to here now. I'm talking to you.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean,
that's
I mean, you being on other channels and shows is how Gonzo saw you.
Right.
And so Gonzo reached out to me, since I've been on other shows with you.
Right.
And was like, hey, why don't you, Bob seems pretty cool. Why don't you ask Bob to come on and we'll interview him? And that's how this started. But yeah, you brought up a good point. Especially being a small channel, because, I started a channel New Year's Day this year.
Yeah.
And so I started it, and my first 3 months was right before COVID, right? And then I met Gonzo, and we talked about YouTube because I work with Gonzo.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, he was new to my office, and we started talking one day, and I was like, "Yeah, I do YouTube," and he goes, "I do YouTube," and then we just kicked it off and started talking, and so then he invited me onto his channel, and like you said, how Walt told you, get out there and make relationships with other people, and so I understand the path that you're taking because I'm still on that path.
Well, another thing for me is something that I've said 1,000 times now. Probably people are sick about hearing it, but I'm one of those recently laid off Disney cast members. I'm still kind of getting paid on a severance, but my last day is like December 5th or 4th, and I still am streaming as I have passes and stuff. But I haven't been with those people. I was on furlough before that too, so I haven't worked at Disney physically since a month at home, April. Wow. And so I was addicted to being around all those Disney people, and then all of a sudden, like a vacuum, they were sucked out of my life. And I hadn't worked on my channel at all. I was so busy working for Disney. I just was addicted to those people. My channel had nothing, like 200 people or something. And then all of a sudden I started seeing, when I was doing what Walt was saying, interviewing people, meeting people, it was filling a personal need, because now I'm talking to Taylor, talking about pin collecting instead of the person who sat next to me who was just like her, and you know what I mean. It's working out well.
Oh, that's good. Let's catch up and chat here real quick. What up, Perfectly Cat, Birdwell? How y'all doing? Glad you could make it here this evening. We're getting to know Bob here from One Stop Mouse, and that what you just said, Bob, led me into one of the questions I wanted to ask you. Knowing that you're recently, one of those cast members that are furloughed, and I didn't know if this was going to be a too sensitive subject, but you kind of alluded to it here, so I wanted to ask, what's the biggest thing you miss from working for Disney? Like, other
than being right next to a cast member, being right next to the people, asking them, like you said.
Well, it's sort of part of that, but it's more. And I'll tell you a thing. And Daniel from Disinfinity says, Bob always tells the same stories and everything, but I still like hearing them. So I'm trying to, but they hold true. I don't have that much. Anyway, it's like, I don't have that much material, Daniel. Relax. I'll come up with it. So anyway, I was going into Epcot, I think it was, to do a stream recently, like a week or two ago. And I was sitting there out front and had all my stuff together, and I was a little early, so I was just kind of waiting. It was 12 noon. I was going to go, and it was like 10 minutes to go. And my leader at Disney, my boss, came in, my former boss, and I said hi, and we were talking. Basically, my entire department got laid off. My entire division got laid off. And we were talking a little, and she went in, and I had about 2 minutes before I turned on the camera and then cheered myself up. But I thought for a second, I don't want to leave this club. I love this club.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't really describe it. It's we have our own club, like Disney YouTubers, and that's the closest that working for Disney can be. I know that actually Kelly wants to do a thing where she and I just talk about what it's like to be a cast member, but it's just, you're special. I mean, from the minute you find out, and you've got that cast member badge, and Mickey Mouse comes in and greets you in the traditions class and everything else, and the way they treat you. Disney isn't known for paying a lot of money to their people. It's not about salaries. But if you talk to any cast member about all of the perks that they give you, the benefits and the things, you can call all these special consultation lines, how to get the best TV in your area for the best price, and doctors, and it's this family that you don't want to leave. Right. And I don't want to leave the family. And I am determined. I don't care what I have to do. I've told you this, I know.
Yeah.
I'll sprinkle pixie dust on safety bars at Pan or do whatever I have to do. And even now, even though there are no jobs posted, I go into the Disney job site every day because whatever it is, I'll take it just to work my way back in. Well, there's one job I don't think I would want. I don't think I could take it. I don't want to stand in the broiling parking lots and direct people into the spaces. I think I would have a heat stroke, but it's just about anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, so then since you said that, let me ask this question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your dream job at Disney? If they would to say, okay, you can pick any position, anything you want, what would it be?
I actually think at this point, and this is interesting, from what I did, I worked at Earl of Sandwich as a third party sort of cast member. Then I worked behind the scenes planning people's vacations and booking tours. And now I'm doing this, which is media. I actually have a Bachelor of Fine Arts from University of Miami in communications with a motion picture major and a photography minor. And I got that way back in the 80s and have had 10 careers since. And I'm like, wow, that degree will never come in for anything. And now it's circled way back around and I live back in Florida again. And I'm starting to think in the back of my mind, I've seen some of these positions for Disney media. I'm like, instead of me being a YouTuber streaming and everything, what if I worked for Disney direct and got back in the fold as Disney media proper? Because you see that they have their own live streams now,
Right.
Disney. And all kinds of stuff. So that's what I'm currently thinking about as a dream job, trying to combine all this.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very cool.
That's awesome.
And chat, just because Gonzo's not here, don't forget to smash that like button, share out the stream, and definitely check out One Stop Mouse.
Yes.
He goes live in the parks, and he does as you heard him say, he does other interviews of other YouTubers. So definitely check him out. And if you like what you see, definitely hit that subscribe button.
Yes, for sure.
I'm actually going to be talking with Meg from Mickey's Magic on Wednesday night at 7 and the Viapre Project on Thursday night at 7. Those are two people I've wanted to talk to for a long time.
Awesome.
That's awesome.
The Viapre Project are mythical. It's like,
oh, man,
they're
amazing. They're so amazing.
Ed
and
we
Mindy.
love Ed and Mindy.
Yes.
I started following them on YouTube not that long ago because I heard about them because I got involved and started watching Walt and Melissa on Mouse Talk and
right.
And Disney Dan, and then they came up. It's been about a month ago now. They came up and they were at Disney Springs one night, and I had gotten off work and I hit them up on Instagram and I was like, oh, are you guys still there? And they were like, yeah. I was like, oh, well, you guys should go eat over here. And then I was like, I just got off work. And they were like, well, do you want to come down? And I was like, okay, sure. So they waited for us and we went and had dinner with them. So we met them about a month ago in person, and they're an awesome couple.
That's cool.
So that's cool.
They are.
That's going to be,
they're
and then
great people.
She's doing an event with Magical, what is it? Magical Mouse? Mickey's.
The girl he's into.
Yeah, what's the channel name?
Mickey's Magic?
Mickey's
Yes.
Magic. And then Josh Goes to Disney, and there's a bunch of other channels.
Yeah.
Next Sunday, the 22nd at 8 o'clock.
8:30.
8:30.
Yeah.
They're doing kind of like a chopped style episode. You know how you do like a live, they do baking, but in their case, they're going to make ears.
And we have an hour
I
to
remember
make
that.
ears.
So they have 1 hour to make ears.
Okay.
So that's going to be
And
awesome.
guess
All right.
what? I've never done ears before.
Okay,
Never.
that's what I was going to ask you, because when we were on the Mickey Bunch and they started talking about that, I remember they mentioned it was going to be a mix of veterans and novices. So I was going to say, which one is you? So I guess I just found that out.
That's the rookie. We actually went and bought some material so she could kind of practice.
Yeah.
Because they can't do any prep work, and then they got to go for it. I'm excited to watch that. I'm gonna try to get off work early because I work late. I don't get home till almost 10 o'clock now. So I'm hoping to be home a little earlier for that.
Wow, I got to see that. Did I hear that? Didn't I hear that Steve from Steve's World might be in that?
Yeah, him.
He's
I gotta watch
for the
that.
first time.
He's one of the rookies.
He's one of
I'm
the
gonna
rookies
watch it
too.
just for that, if nothing else. I gotta watch it.
And then it's great because all the ears are going to be donated.
To
There's an auction that there's another channel doing.
Give Kids the World.
Yeah.
We're gonna.
The proceeds are going to go to Give Kids the
Yeah,
World.
we're gonna put an auction, and then all the proceeds will go to Give Kids the World, which is great because.
Yeah.
Man, I love kids. I love.
Oh.
I'm a preschool teacher, so that's really. Close
Oh,
to
really?
me. Yes.
That's so cool.
Yes.
Thank you for what you do. I know how hard it is. I mean,
yeah.
I personally know how hard it is.
Thank you. You're sweet. You're awesome.
Hey, and Mars says, "Oh, maybe Mickey Travels or Mickey Blog might need a new employee."
Yeah.
I mean, hey, maybe they do.
Oh,
Never know.
that's interesting. Yeah. Maybe
Who
I'll
knows?
find
Do
out.
you got a question for him?
Go ahead.
Thanks, Mar.
Okay, so I want to know what your favorite Disney song is.
My favorite Disney song, Feed the Birds.
Feed the Birds. I've never heard that. From what movie?
Mary Poppins.
Oh, okay.
That was also Walt Disney's favorite song.
Oh.
Whenever he was feeling down in his office in Burbank, he would have the Sherman Brothers come, and they knew exactly what he meant when he would say, "Play it," and they would play that bird. It was the thing with the homeless lady sitting on the, that whole thing about, "Daddy, I want to feed the birds," and no, you got to put it in the bank, and learning what's important about people and playing with your kids and. Feed the birds. Yeah.
That's cool. And Krista, oops, where did it go? It jumped. Give me 1 sec. Krista,
I saw Walt in there.
Yeah,
hey, Walt.
hi, Walt.
What's up?
What
Hi,
up?
Melissa, just in
Walt-
case you're watching.
Walt,
You
Melissa,
look
how's it
great.
And yes, Krista, Walt is wearing a great hat. If he's wearing the right shirt, you might be a little scared. What up, Alyssa? Welcome to the stream. And Walt says they just got back from Give Kids the World with all the lights.
Give Kids the World.
Yes.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
That's awesome.
I've only seen the pictures, but it looks amazing.
I know. I saw Paging Mr. Morrow's video.
Hey, Melissa.
That
Hey,
was
Melissa.
great. Yeah. Hi.
You have another one?
Yes. Okay, so this one's a two-part question.
Okay.
Who is your favorite Disney character, and which Disney character best represents you?
Mary Poppins is my favorite Disney character.
Okay.
And I saw her in just recently streaming up above the train station in something I'd never seen her in before, which was amazing because she usually has 90% of the time she's in that white parasol kind of costume. Sometimes on the floats you'll see her in her working uniform with the hat and a few little flowers and the umbrella and stuff and the bag. She actually this time she had, I think it might have been inspired by the new movie because it had bigger flowers, same sort of hat, but it actually had some color in it. It had sort of like this wool skirt that was red and some other things. And she had the audience just in stitches, just cracking up. And I'm thinking, Mary. Yeah, I'm in love with Mary Poppins. I've always had a crush on Mary
got the
Poppins.
hots for Mary.
Yeah.
Bob, you don't need another ex-wife.
No.
No more ex-wives, Bob.
No. I don't, and Julie Andrews is the only Mary Poppins around, so I don't think Julie Andrews is looking for another husband right now. So. And which character represents me the most?
Yes.
Of any Disney? Well, it depends. Disney owns Lucasfilm now, so if you say that Lucasfilm has Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark movie, so
I can see it.
That would be it.
That's why he wears the hat.
Yes, I totally see it. Totally see it.
But if he wears his striped Christmas sweater,
oh no,
Oh, no.
I saw that.
He's like Freddy Krueger then.
Yeah, I know.
Kelly's
I know.
so silly. She's so silly.
Yeah. Do you notice I'm not wearing it now? You notice that?
Yeah.
She gave you
It's actually it's on a hanger in the other room, and I went, no. Good audio, no sweater.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's your favorite Disney snack?
My favorite Disney snack. I would say a hot dog at Casey's. That's a snack for me. I'm a big foodie. You know, a Dole Whip came to mind right away, but really, anytime any Casey's hot dog, those specialty hot dogs they have.
You know,
I
I've
wonder
never had
if
one of them hot dogs. I've never had one.
Oh,
of them.
they're so good.
Oh.
I think Dockside Diner also has the foot-long hot dogs, but I don't think does
They're
anyone in the
closed, too.
chat? Yeah, I was going to say, does anyone in the chat know if they're open? Because
No,
I
they're
would
not. We
eat
went.
that.
We went the other day, and because Casey's closed, I was like, "Oh, I would like to go." I know they have the big hot dogs with all the toppings on it, so I was like, "I want to go there and get one." And when we went, not that long ago, they're closed too.
All right,
The only hot dog type of food you can get right now is the corn dog.
With all the condiments.
That's what I was just
No,
going
he-
to say. If you have to say hot dog and it's really, really good, and I'm not going to say, I tried to say in the last stream on the Mickey Bunch that it's kind of like, it's got sort of like panko batter on the outside, which is very crispy, and the hot dog on the inside, all beef hot dog, real big, really moist inside, and it was so much so that I've never had a corn dog taste like that, and I've never had a corn dog like that I didn't need to have any condiments on it because of the sweet and the salty. So that I think that's a big thumbs up for a corn dog if you don't need to have
100%.
mustard or ketchup on it.
I liked the crunch. Like when I went back and edited my vlog, I was surprised to hear that because I wasn't right on the camera. The camera was a good, foot and a half away.
Yeah.
And I wasn't using a mic or anything. It was just using the onboard mic of the camera, and you still heard the. I was like, oh wow. So
you guys should definitely check that out. And try to get one of those Madame Leota sippy cups if they're still hanging around in there.
Oh yeah, we got those early on. I got those super early. What's your favorite park?
My favorite park, Magic Kingdom, definitely.
Okay.
Right there, right next to me.
Nice. The
Yeah.
partner.
Yeah, the partners. Because
Nice.
I mean, it's the little kid in me. I wanted to go to Magic Kingdom. I didn't get a chance to see Magic Kingdom until I was 19, when I was going to college, and I came up to see Epcot from the University of Miami. But all those years as a little kid, wanting to go see Haunted Mansion and wanting to see the castle in person at Disneyland and then at Disney World. Now my dad and I both live near the park, and we go together as much as we can. So
That's awesome.
it is. We're trying to make up for lost time. He's in his 80s now. I'm in my 50s, so.
Hey, you're never too old for Disney.
Well, I think I'm
Never.
14, and I'm still surprised every time I look in the mirror. So I'm about 14 or 15. And I was a good kid too. I was no problem to my parents. I was like a smart sort of nerd kid. So I'm still about exactly the same. Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
What keeping on that same line then, what's your favorite when you think of Disney just as a whole, whether it's as a cast member or before, what's the memory that first pops into your head that you think that that just is like has your love for Disney? What's the first memory that pops in?
Actually, not actually being there. It was the first time I saw slides of the Haunted Mansion, the ballroom, especially, and the little Viewmaster slides, those circular slides that you would click in those viewers. The first time I saw those ghosts, those dancing ghosts, I was hooked and I wanted to go. And then once I saw the castle, up until this day, if tomorrow I go to Magic Kingdom, as soon as I walk under that arch, as a matter of fact, I used to run a hiking center in the mountains, and I made an exact replica of that round sign that you walk under the arch that says, "Here you enter a land of fantasy, tomorrow, and yesteryear." I did something like that, talking about hiking gear, and nobody ever got the joke, of course. But so every time I go through that arch and I see Tony's Town Square and then come around a little and see the castle, I get chills down my spine. And I'm 58 and I've gone to the park a lot, but it's almost every single time it's like the first time I ever went there. And I think that's a secret too, because I was watching My Crazy Disney Lady tonight and she was at the park and somebody said, the reason I like to watch Tanya is that she laughs like she's seen this for the first time. And I think a lot of people like you guys and me and Kelly, and it doesn't matter how many times we talk about this and how much we go and how much we're into it. We obviously still enjoy it so much.
Yeah. I mean, even there's times that I go, and there was a stream, I think it was in my last Hollywood Studio stream. It was in my 10-hour one with Gonzo, and I had an interaction with Kylo Ren and the Stormtroopers that I've never experienced before. So even though we've gone, I don't know how many, in the last year, we probably went 200 times. And there's still things that even though you go that often, you still experience new things. There's things that we're still learning and discovering because there is so much. And so I know that there's a lot of people out there that are not in the Disney world that look at us like, you're a grown man. Why the frick do you love Disney? Like, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, no, what's wrong with you that you're too grumpy that you don't?
Yeah, you know what's interesting about that? Every time that happens, I sort of take it, I don't get pushy, but I take it as a challenge. Because now we live down here, right? Yeah. And we have, my wife has some passes. I still have passes for a little bit, guest passes. And we basically would send them a link to like an article from Condé Nast saying the majority of people who actually enjoy Disney World from around the world are adults without children. Because there are a lot of people who say, what's wrong with you? And that's because they're not living through their kids to do it. So they're not thinking that they'd want to do it. And when they come and they see how it really is and they leave, 99% of the friends and relatives that I've done that with, they're like, wow, I didn't expect it to be like that. That was so fun. You know, there was some child stuff, but then I ate and drank around the world at Epcot. And I just think that, like I was saying, Disney World is not what it used to be. Starting with what Michael Eisner started doing in the 80s, building up all of these resorts and everything, it's way more than what a lot of people think. It's just, a single small slot of what it is. So I don't see how people are.
It's changed. Like you said, it's changed so much. I mean, I remember it wasn't my first time, but one of my favorite memories was coming up on a field trip when I was in high school and having the opportunity, because we came up on a field trip with our physics class. I was like, that's a great field trip to me. And we were able to ride all the rides before the park opened, because we had to do different experiments on them. And one of them was riding Space Mountain with the lights on and then with the lights off.
Oh.
And so we had to write on our paper, like, what were the differences? What did you feel? And stuff like that. And so for me, like you said, there's all these different things. And, some things you can do that other people can't. There's all different kinds of experiences. Right now, a lot of it's not available. But, one day it'll come back and people will be able to do a bunch of different experiences that only a handful of people get to do.
It's we have some good friends of my wife's in town right now that she went to high school with back in Utah, and they hadn't been to Disney since after COVID stuff, and it was really interesting because you could tell that there were a lot of things they actually liked about the experience that they didn't expect to like the silver lining, the lines that looked like they were so long, but really ended up only being a 30-minute standby walk-on wait for Flight of Passage, thinking, if they would have tried to have done that last year, that would have been a 3-hour wait.
Right.
Yeah.
And is this piece of fabric on my face worth 30 minutes just being able to walk onto things that I never would have even seen if this was my first time? And they were talking that, my wife and these two other ladies were talking about it. And it's very curious because I was thinking, I'm sure Disney is looking at that too. I know they're talking right now about not even having fast passes, about all kinds of things, because they would have never been forced to see the perspective that they're looking at now. They never would have closed down this and done that. Oh yeah, hey, let's lose a few $1 billion and see how that works out. We could have a new system. You know what I mean? So there might be some good things that come out of this. It should be very interesting to see.
It definitely will be interesting.
Yeah.
Definitely will be. You have another question, then we'll get into some quick ones.
Kelly told you to make sure to not forget the rapid fire.
If you could ask Walt one question, what question would it be?
Walt from Mouse Talk or Walt
No.
Disney?
What?
Walt from Mouse Talk or Walt Disney?
Walt Disney, not
Walt Disney. If I could ask him one question?
One question, yes.
If I could ask him one question. So I have to assume that he's there, like in person with me, like now, back from the dead.
Yeah.
I've actually had dreams. This is weird, but I've actually had dreams of showing Walt around Walt Disney World. And then, of course, my question always ends up being, what do you think?
Oh, that's a cool question, yeah.
Because there's so much wonderful stuff. And, of course, at first I wonder, would he be kind of put off that Epcot isn't like what he was thinking, but, if he actually talked to the people that knew his brother Roy and other people, why they had to come to where they were going. But I'm always interested in that. It's like, I wonder what he would actually think about modern day Disney World.
That's so good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay.
Definitely. All right. So,
Going? I have a few ones.
what really makes you angry?
What the word no?
Okay.
Have you ever met someone famous?
I have met a couple of people who are famous. I met. I made a sandwich for Captain America at Earl of Sandwich. And when I lived out in Los Angeles, I met a few people. I was on a blind date in a bar, sitting at a bar by myself, thinking, I don't like these loud, noisy places. And the guy next to me had this really weird voice, and it ended up being Bob Dylan, who really didn't want to be there either. And he joked with me for a minute. George Harrison, I met in an elevator. So a couple of people, yeah.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
What motivates you to work hard?
When I do a project, when I do a video, if I do any job, I hate for it to be done half because every time I go, like if I do a home project or something like that, every time I go by it, it annoys me. So although I was joking around the other day, I set up my little environment with the cheap stuff that I have with my backdrop and my green. So you always see me with the green screen, right? And the lights and everything. When my audio was coming and going and I'm like trying to put my best foot forward on Mickey's Bunch, and you saw me joking around and I'm like hitting myself, I was half joking. I was like, come on, Bob.
No, trust me, I get it because I was fortunate enough to have my date moved up early and be interviewed by Pete. What was that, back in September or early October?
Something like that.
And I couldn't. We had technical difficulties. I couldn't get connected, and so I ended up having my interview just with audio. And so talk about frustrated. Oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean, Bob. To me, technology should just work, and when it doesn't, I become like the Hulk and don't. Oh
no!
I do not.
All right, now I know I told you this, VP, and a few people that have watched this video know it. But okay, so now that you know my mindset about technology and my delicate touch with it, I think like some people call me Magneto, right? Because I think when I like freak out about the tech being bad, I make it get fritzed more. One of those people that have those vibes. So anyway, I'm doing an interview with It's Always Sunny, and this is like last week, a few days ago, I can't remember when. And I'm having the problems that you know about with the audio and everything, right? So I've got to do my interview with them with the phone like now. And then we've got Tropical Storm Ada here, knocking out the electricity every 5 minutes, knocking out the internet. And then I'm on my phone, right? And I finally get them long distance. They're in Utah, and we're having all kinds of glitches. That was the night at 7 o'clock when I started the stream that YouTube went down. And I literally, at that point, I just started laughing hysterically and cracking up. I'm like, my wife's like, have you lost it finally? I'm like, my powers have expanded. I've just taken down YouTube worldwide.
That's funny. What's the last book you read?
The last book I read was Diet for a New America.
Okay.
Would you like to be famous?
Would I like to be famous? I would like to have a successful YouTube channel. I don't know. Well, no. So I haven't told you, but I was a little uncomfortable when I was on Spilling the Tea because I sort of was a little well known in this other area that I was in, this little microcosm community. And some of the weird things that happens with like, trolls and stalker type people and everything, I kind of like came down here to do this and I wanted a total separation. So like when Kelly was asking me like questions and wanted to know about stuff, and she's like, why is Bob getting squirrely? Because I hadn't really like, you know what I mean? So it's weird. So no, the answer to that question is, I'm not sure. I want a great YouTube channel, and I would like a lot of people to see it. But I don't want those stupid things that come with it. And I won't get into that too much. But if anyone has started watching Josh and Jenna with Resort TV 1, there was a time a few years ago when they literally were in tears, both of them, when they were streaming.
I think I heard about that.
Yeah, and I was actually watching it, and you know how sweet they are. Yeah. So you just have to know. Okay, well, I want to be famous. Well, that's what comes with it. See, I don't have any simple answers. I'm really squirrely.
What's the last movie you saw?
Last movie I saw, I haven't been in a theater since COVID, so a streaming movie.
Any movie.
The last thing that I watched was an episode of The Mandalorian, but any film, I think I watched It's a Wonderful Life the other day, trying to get into the Christmas spirit.
Okay. What'd you want to be when you were growing up?
The first thing when I was really young is I wanted to be a pilot, actually. Okay. And then when I got like high schoolish age and was trying to figure out what I was going to do, I'm 58. So when I was trying to figure that out, it was like 1979, 1980. They didn't have LASIK surgery back then. And so the regular route for pilots, the affordable route, is you get into like the Air Force Academy and go through the military, and then you get into commercial stuff. But they wouldn't allow me to be a pilot. I had to be like the guy in the back, like who was in Top Gun, who was
Goose.
Tom Cruise. Yeah, so I could be Goose, but I couldn't be, and that's what I wanted to be. So instead, I went to the University of Miami to study marine biology, and myself and organic chemistry did not see eye to eye. Okay. And so I had a roommate at the University of Miami who was a nephew of Nicolas Cage's, a cousin of Nicolas Cage's, and a nephew of Francis Ford Coppola, the director. And he was taking film courses in Miami because he didn't want to be in the shadow of his famous relatives.
Okay.
And he was my roommate, and I started going to his classes and failing out of my own because I liked what he was doing so much. And then I had to give up scholarships and do that. And then I moved out west after I got a degree in that. And I actually did okay. I got some small awards, did commercials and music videos and stuff. And I started getting more accustomed to Disney because I lived right near Anaheim.
Okay.
So I was going to Disneyland. And I find it really funny to come all the way back around in the circle, and I live in Florida again. And now I'm starting to get into media, like I was saying before. I'm like, what? Yeah. This is ironic.
Bob, Krista here says, my son wants to go to school for marine ecology. So that's interesting.
University of Miami for undergraduate stuff is one of the best places in the nation. For graduate school stuff, they have Woods Hole and they have other places. But for undergraduate stuff, University of Miami has been the place for a long time.
Yeah, my daughter, our daughter, that's her dream school. She wants to go there.
It's a cool school.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm becoming an old timer now. So like when I got there in 1980, and then a few years into being there, Howard Schnellenberger, the coach, got there, and Kelly and Testaverde and all these people, and they hadn't even been at a bowl game for like 23 years until like 83 or something. And the first bowl game in a long time was the Fiesta Bowl. And then all of a sudden they start to become well known. And with the football knownness and the alumni, they totally rebuilt that school from when I was going to film school at the University of Miami. When I switched over into my majors, I literally they had old World War II shacks in the back of the campus. And we were in these shabby old now it's this big, huge modern day campus. Nice school now.
Yeah, definitely. Would you rather ride a bike, ride a horse, or drive a car?
Horse. I'm an VP knows I'm an outdoor guy. So every time I get on the Mickey Bunch, they just laugh their butts off at me because I think the last time
Kelly's not an outdoors person.
Right. I think I mentioned you could get the same perks as you get at any resort at the Riviera or by renting a $60 tent pad. And even if you don't have a tent, you could buy a $60 tent at Walmart, throw it on there. And the only time I wouldn't do that would be in the hottest part of the summer. But any other part of the year, and then when they have extra magic hours again and everything, you can get those same perks. And every time I say that, Kelly laughs me right off. She literally will turn me off.
Would you rather do the dishes, mow the lawn, clean the bathroom, or vacuum?
Mow the lawn.
Beach, mountain, or city?
Mountain.
Yeah.
I lived in the mountains right before I got here. I lived in the mountains. I lived on the Appalachian Trail, literally.
So, other than Florida, if you can pick your favorite place to live in, where would that be?
Other than Florida, that would be...
Or California.
Probably Asheville, North Carolina.
Okay.
Yeah, really cool city founded by hippies up in the mountains. I love Florida, I do, but it just is very, very hot. And I get so giddy. I think I went to Disney the other day and it was no humidity. It was 75 degrees at 2 p.m, puffy blue cloud, in a blue sky. And I was telling people, this is one of the 16 days a year that you love living in.
The best.
Although my dogs really, really love it here because they are obsessed with chasing after those little lizards in the backyard. Oh. They never get them, but they're obsessed.
What's your favorite zoo animal?
My favorite zoo animal, giraffes. That's my big fave going on the safaris.
Do you like scary movies?
I like thrillers, but I'm not big into like horror movies, like slasher type Nightmare on Elm Street, or Saw, that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay.
There was that one kind of what was that one that had Chris Hemsworth in it? And it was a house that had that like lab underneath it, and they were messing with them. If it, I think any genre of movie, just like any genre of entertainment, music or whatever, there's always something good in there.
Yeah.
Even if it's not your cup of tea. So somebody's like, "Hey, Bob, do you like hip hop?" Well, no, probably not 75% of it. But just like in any genre of anything, there are people who are exceptional.
Right. What is your favorite genre of music?
My favorite genre of music, probably country right now. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more mellow. Used to be hard rock. I used to be like Pete McDevitt, with AC/DC and stuff like that, and I kind of chilled out.
Who do you most listen to now?
Who do I listen to the most? No one in particular. I just hit the thing on my YouTube Music thing. Actually, I've been listening to like cafe, like piano music lately, because which is so weird, because I would laugh at somebody listening to Muzak, just a few years ago. But, with all the stress, I'm like looking for a new job and everything else. It's so soothing, calming. Let me sip on some tea. Yeah. I don't need.
Yeah, got you. If you could have dinner with 4 individuals, living or dead, who would they be?
4 individuals, living or dead, who would they be? Steven Spielberg, Walt Disney, Steven Spielberg, Walt Disney, good question. My grandmother, my Nana, and my grandfather, Poppy.
Oh,
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
They were. I didn't realize until later in life, and after one of them passed on, that what? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
No, it's just Jesse's like, what's with the trolls all of a sudden? I don't know.
It's because I'm not your favorite Puerto Rican. I'm your favorite Norwegian, and as I said, I'm a troll magnet, man. So bring it. I've got them right here. I've got my grandparents. I've got Walt Disney, and I've got Steven Spielberg. Actually, I worked for Steven Spielberg for a very, very short time. I worked as an assistant to Steven Spielberg back in the Color Purple days.
Oh wow!
And he actually told me something very important, and because he was this very, very famous guy that would never remember me working for him for like 4 weeks. But he basically told me, I can't do anything. He said, I can't write a check. I can't do anything, but I'm really, really good in this one thing. And I'm so lucky everybody pampers me. And he said, what you got to realize is I'm really, really lucky. But there are a lot of people like me out there. And the thing is, you've got to be really lucky. You've got to be really persistent, and you got to be really talented. But if you're really persistent and you're really talented and you hang in there, sooner or later, you'll get lucky. And he just happened to win the lottery. He said, but there's a ton of people like me out there, even more talented than me, but they just, because they can't afford it anymore, or they get depressed, or, they have to raise kids, they give up right maybe when they're about to make it. So I've always kind of kept that to myself, because I'm one of these guys that's had multiple marriages and all types of careers, and my faith is pretty strong, and I just think to myself all the time, okay, it came down to my last thing. I came down to Florida. I feel like I was guided down here to work for Disney, and then what's with this?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, it means something. Maybe that wasn't the best job at Disney. Maybe the next thing's going to be the perfect job.
Yes.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Just keep on going.
Yeah.
Walt, put in here George Washington, Moses, Babe Ruth, and Elvis Presley. Definitely good choices there.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I don't think I've ever thought about that question though, personally.
Not me either.
What's your favorite fast food chain?
In-N-Out Burgers, West Coast.
Fries or onion rings?
Fries. At most places.
Italian icy or ice cream or soft serve?
Italian ice, actually, if it's a real Italian ice.
What about, have you ever had a gelati?
You know what? I have never had gelato. I've talked to...
A gelati.
What's a gelati?
It's Italian ice layered with soft serve ice cream.
No. Who? Where can I get one of those?
Jeremiah's.
Is that around here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know if there's one down there, but I would think so at this point. The guy's blown up. I mean, he's originally from over here in Winter Park. But the first time I took my wife, I was like, I'm going to take you to a place to get some soft serve. And she's, just like all New Yorkers, nothing's better than what's in New York, right? The pizza's better in New York. The water's better in New York. The soft serve
is she from New York?
Yeah, she's from Queens.
Yeah,
I was born in Queens. I was born in Flushing.
She was born in Astoria.
You know what? Guess what? Guess what? Well, I lived a lot of my life in Cambria Heights in Queens. Okay, so you know that thing she's talking about the pizza and the bagels and everything else? She's right.
Bob, I'm not saying you're wrong.
Bob, you're out.
But when I took her to Jeremiah's to get
Did she
some
like
vanilla soft serve,
oh really?
That's better than Mr. Softy. It's better
really?
than Mr. Softy. Oh yeah. It's way better than Mr. Softy.
Better than Carvel?
Yes.
Really? Okay. All right, I'll go.
Yes.
But if you want some pizza that's close, like the best outside of New York,
yeah.
On I just forgot the street name. It's down by the airport. Hoffner.
Yeah.
Hoffner.
It's called Bronx Pizza.
Interesting.
It's near the Orlando airport.
Now we have two. I saw a bagel review. There's a place in Winter Park, a bagel place that's supposed to have good bagels, and there's a brand new one that's called Brothers Bagels. That's right in Claremont, right down the street from me. And because this is a New York thing, kind of. So tomorrow,
the bagels I know are really good because we had one in Manhattan. In Manhattan, we had one, so I know they're way better there. But Brooklyn Water Bagel, in Winter Park, that's pretty good.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Last Sunday, I used to always, when I lived in New York, I would, somebody would go out for fresh bagels on a Sunday morning, and so tomorrow's coming, and I'm like, I'm going to one of those places tomorrow morning. So
nice. What's your favorite family tradition?
Favorite family tradition. On Christmas, we have on Christmas Eve, Santa basically comes in person to our house. So I don't know how it's going to be this year, but usually, and it's for the little kids, but the adults too. Santa basically, somebody leaves like Clark Kent, and then there's noises on the roof, and all the adults get all excited, and we've got this great Santa suit, and he comes in and he's got a bag of toys, and he grabs some cookies and stuff, and ho ho ho, and it's like, I'm in a rush. I have so many houses to go to, but come sit down with me for a second. Come sit in my lap. Let me give you a present before I have to get out of here. And we take pictures, and that's a good thing.
That's awesome.
That's a cool tradition.
Awesome. Board games or video games?
A little of both.
Neither.
Actually.
No.
I would say board games still. Yeah, because I'm not playing video games now because I don't. Since our move, we're still kind of we're living like college students. Okay, we just got a real bed. We've been here for a year and a half. We had like a mattress on the floor, and I'm like, I can't be like this anymore. This is ridiculous. So we're just becoming real people again.
We're definitely a board game. I mean, I play video games with the kids and stuff, but we're definitely a board game family as well. I've never counted them, but we
Yeah,
probably have,
bunch.
I don't know,
Tons.
maybe 100.
Like 2 closetfuls.
Yeah,
Okay.
we have a ton.
I just saw when I was in Memento Mori, I saw Haunted Mansion Monopoly that I really was thinking about getting because I still have my 50% cast discount going. I did get a tie, which is amazing. It's like it's the most handsome tie ever, but only people like you guys would get up close enough to see that in the fine, that it's Haunted Mansion wallpaper.
Oh, okay.
It's like and it's not bright purple like the Joker. It's like a gray, sort
Okay.
of. So it's a really classy tie, and I got it because it was half off of $50.
Nice.
Nice.
So,
Krista, that's
yeah.
not true. I play board games.
It is it's
like
true.
a good girl.
She's
I mean,
flipped
takes board games to the next level.
she's
What do you go upstairs with them?
No,
Yeah, that's it.
she flips the board.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Bob.
No.
She flipped
She has
the board.
she's literally got upset and flipped the board.
You're like my dad. My dad used to do that.
I'm like, oh yeah, well, no one's winning now.
Oh no! My dad was playing Battleship with like one of my little nephews, and I'm like, "What is that noise?" I'm like, "Are you serious? He's 8 years old. He beat you fair and square."
And Jesse, that new Villain's Clue is pretty cool. We picked that up about a month ago. It is a pretty cool game. Pieces are done nice. Board looks really good. Well, Bob, this
Cool.
hour has flown by. I have one more question, but let our chat know what you have going on, what you have coming up.
What I got coming up? So Tuesday, this coming Tuesday at 4:00 in the afternoon, I'm going to be streaming live from Magic Kingdom. I usually start at 12 in the afternoon, but I want to see the lights. So starting at 4 this Tuesday, streaming from Magic Kingdom. Wednesday night, here in the in-home studio, I'm going to be interviewing Meg from Mickey's Magic, who's going to be in your event. And then that's at 7:00. And then on Thursday, I'm going to be interviewing at 7. I'll be interviewing the Viapre project, which I'm really excited about as well.
I
So
will
we've
be
got
there
some
watching.
big people. Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you. And then you might be able to find me. I don't know. I really apologize to Kelly about all my tech problems, but we know I can do this at least. You might see me on the Mickey Bunch. I hope.
That's funny.
And that pretty much sums up my week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank you
guys-
so much for having me on here. And tell
No
Gonzo
problem.
I'm sorry I missed him.
Definitely will. Real quick, I'll let you know what we have going on, and then I got one more question for you, Bob.
Okay.
So today is Saturday.
Yeah.
Sunday, I have my new schedule. I'll be working, but I'm off Mondays and Tuesdays, so I will be vlogging at Animal Kingdom. So I'll have an Animal Kingdom vlog coming out. I'll be meeting Taylor Made Magic,
Yes.
Kelly's daughter, so I'll be
Yay.
there.
So
and then
excited, yeah.
we'll be at Magic Kingdom the same day Bob is, so we'll get to meet Bob in person.
That's at
On
1 o'clock,
Tuesday.
right? On Tuesday, that's at 1 o'clock, I think Kelly said. So I could
Yeah, I
probably
think
pop
so.
in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then Tuesday morning, I have my DVC morning show, DVC Morning Live with Kelly. So come on 9:30 Eastern time on Tuesday. Tuesday night, we have Taco Tuesday on Gonzo's channel at 10:30. And then we also have, or Gonzo has Melody Mixes at 10:30 on Monday night. It's the best, worst thing on the internet. It's definitely I took what Kelly said.
Yeah.
I've never been a karaoke person, and that's a fun karaoke show. So definitely check it out. You guys have a lot of fun. And then be on the lookout. I have a new vlog dropping on Wednesday. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure your notifications for Adventures with VP is set to all. Thank you all for being here. And Bob, the last question is, who's your hero?
My hero. Walt Disney, actually. Yeah.
I got one too.
Yeah.
What would you say to Walt if you had him right in your face? What would you say to him?
Thank you.
No, I did not ask that. I asked 2 different questions.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. 'Cause
Well,
I
you
asked
said Well, you
one
said
was-
what would you? The first time you said what would I ask him?
Ask him, right. Now
And
I'm asking-
I said, what do you think of Walt Disney World?
Yes, yes.
And then
Now
what
I'm
would I
asking-
tell him?
Yes, what would you tell him?
I would tell him thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't think he has any idea. Go be long-winded, but really, I don't think he had a piece of an idea back then. But if he could see how he's changed lives, if he could see these little television studios right here, you know, that are in your pocket, and how we all, you know, every little thing about him is legend.
Yes.
I wonder how he would feel about, you know, he was famous, but being freakishly famous like this. I wonder.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's
So,
good.
yeah.
Well, again, thank you, Bob, for being here. Thank you, chat, for
You're
being
welcome.
here. You've been a
Thank you,
good sport,
guys.
Bob.
Thank you, Bob.
Guys,
Thank you.
Meeting you.
We
Nice
love
to
you
meet
all.
you.
Have a good one. Make sure your
Good night, guys.
notifications
Good
are
night.
set up. Good night. Have a great
Good
evening.
night, everyone.
Enjoy your
Take
Sunday.
care.